everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you this Christmas shadow box card. Yes, it has a little card on the back and it is just a simple shadow box that I've decorated, and I've added one of those lovely green sprigs just inside, just really to make it a little bit different, and I think it's quite pretty and I'd be quite pleased to receive that as a Christmas card this year. Looks like somebody's taken some time to make it, but it does take some time to make, so I'm going to crack on because otherwise you'll be bored with listening to me. So this one is made using Sahara sand, and I've actually done the die cutting and I put them all on a tissue ready because I knew that it would take me a long time. So you need a piece of DSP that is 8 by 8, and you are going to score it at every ½ an inch up to the 2 inches. So ½ an inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, and you're going to do that on all 4 sides. I'm not going to do it all because it'll just take too long, but I just want to do this bit to show you. So we're coming in this way to do ½ inches. Oh, goodness me. So we've done our ½ inches all the way round, so we've got all of them on all 4 sides. Then you pick one side, and it doesn't matter which because they're all the same, and you pick a ½ inch and go down 2. So another ½ inch across, go down 2, spin it all the way round, do the same again. So 2.5 down to the second line, 5.5 down to the second line. And when you've finished, a good old-fashioned, here's one I made earlier, it will look like this. And if you can see, here are those extra 2 lines, and 2 again at the bottom. They're just cutting lines more than anything else. So then we go along and score and burnish, fold and burnish, I keep saying that, all of our score lines, which again I've done just to save time. And then where we've got those 2 half lines, we cut down them, and then you do a diagonal across and straight down, and then you go straight down the ones that don't have that extra line. So down for the 2, diagonal across, straight down 1, cut it away. And you just do that on all of the 4 sides. So down 2, across. And like I said, there are plenty of videos for shadow boxes out there, which is why I'm not going through the whole thing with you, because it'll take me long enough to make the box up without spending 10 minutes showing you how to do a shadow box. That there's plenty of tutorials out there, and most people know how to do them anyway. So there's my my shadow box. So as you can see, that's what it will look like. So we need to adhere it now. So flip it over, and obviously on these 2 straight parts, we just add whatever adhesive you want to use. Now I generally use tear and tape just because it's easier, and I can get a straight line and get it down without messing too much. And then the same on this side. Tear and tape was all twisted then, and again just pop it on there, and then we do the same on these ones, just straight across. And this is obviously what you would class as the back of the box, so this part, that's this bit here. Oops. And then one more just across that bit. Okay, so then we spin it back round, and obviously you can now see where the box is coming up from. That's in there, and then that tucks in there, and that one tucks in as well. So we just need to add some adhesive onto these angular pieces here. So you literally just need to add, and I'm going to give you a little small confession here. I already started this tutorial once, and I put the adhesive on the wrong side. I put it on there, and so when I folded my box up, my adhesive was here, and I said, well, that's no use, that's just not going to work. So I had to start again, which is very annoying. So yes, that's why you need to make sure you put your adhesive in the right places. And as you can see, I'm just adding it just to that one panel where that bit's been cut at an angle. So I'm trying to do this bit quick because, like I said, everybody pretty much knows how to do these shadow boxes now. So the 2 straight edges I'm just simply going to take off and fold in. So I just tuck it under and I try and butt this edge up against this crease, in the meantime making sure that this stays straight, and then you just fold it back on itself so you can press it down. And do the same this side. That's it. And then butt it up against that score line, and you can feel it. It just sort of stops and acts as a bit of a wedge. And then likewise, now I do these again one at a time. So take the backing off here and then take the backing off these ones. But when you take the backing off, just turn it and put it at an angle across it. So put it across at an angle. So I'm going to fold this over, tuck it in to find that score line that it's to butt up against, and I'm almost squashing these side ones out of the way because I don't want it there. And then I'm going to remove this, bring this up, and just make sure that that's pushed in there so that you don't get a gap in the corner. And then likewise with this one, just do the same again, push it in. Now before I do this one, I want to add a little hole. I don't know if you can see in there, but I pierced a hole. I think we get the right angle. I pierced a hole with my 1/8 of an inch circle punch, but obviously I needed to know where this is going to sit. So because to be honest, when I did this one, it was a little bit too close. So before I adhere anything, I'm going to fold this up, and then I'm just going to pop my green sprig in to where I want it to sit, and I'm literally just going to mark a little tiny bit with my pencil, and then just simply punch my hole, and then I can finish adhering my box. So again, take the backing off the main piece. Now you won't be able to flatten the sides on this one because obviously it's already adhered to the bottom there, so you just have to try and line it all up as carefully as you can, oops, as you come to adhere. So let's stick that back across, and the same with this one, which isn't playing ball. There we go. So stick that one across. Oh, actually you might just give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, as I call it. So remember, butt it up, tuck it in, pull this out and push that one in, and likewise with this one. Oh, come on, pull that out and tuck that one in. So there's your shadow box, and then what have I done with it? Your green sprig. Now as I say, I didn't measure this one properly, so I just punched my hole and it was too close, but I don't want it too far over because it's going to hide the sentiment. So all I did was I just trimmed. I looked for there's a side generally that's going to be a bit flatter where it's been packed. Sorry, I'm doing all of this off camera, I didn't realise. Where it's been packed, it's a little bit flatter. If you hold it that way, it's quite wide, but then when you turn it this way, it's a bit flatter. So I'm just simply going to take off just a couple of sprigs just to help it sit nicely, and it'll obviously then sit without the sprigs pushing it. So that's that bit. So now you need to do the inside. So I've got mine here, which I have already stamped using Carols of Christmas, because obviously that's the suite I'm using this week. And I've used the ornaments, and I've simply stamped them. This one is in Smoky Slate, and this one was Sahara Sand. So I've simply got a 3x3 piece of card, and as I say, I've stamped these ornaments last night so that they would be dry, because unfortunately occasionally when you come to heat emboss, if your ink's still a bit damp, the ink will actually stick to it. I'm going to stick with Peace on Earth, I think, this time. So sticking with my sentiment, get that gunked up with my Versamark, and then I sort of put it up top right, so that it's out the way of the sprig. Let's just give that a quick clean. And then I want my white embossing powder, which I don't seem to have got out ready. It is. You want to see my desk, honestly, there's so much going on here. Trying to do one video is confusing when you've got piles of stuff. Trying to do it all in one go, just so that I can get a little bit ahead, which will never happen, but anyway. So, white embossing powder, heat emboss your white, and don't worry if your card bends slightly, because obviously you're going to be adhering it to the back of the shadow box anyway. Just get that, there we go, it's just starting to go. Just heat all of that up. Let's turn it round because it's getting a bit hot on my thumb. So that's that done. And then, as you can see on this one, I just added, now I do apologise for my pronunciation because I don't know how you actually pronounce it correctly, poinsettia? I think that's correct. And I've simply just grabbed some glue dots. And as you say, I'm going to bring my tissue back in here with my bits on. So I will do my trees and my reindeer in a moment. So I'm just literally going to pop these two over and put a glue dot and then stick them on. And I have stamped these in real red and then die cut them. Stamped real red onto real red card, and then, as I say, just die cut them with the card front builder thinlits. And the poinsettia is actually out of this, it's the centre piece. And the reason that I've die cut these ahead of time and not on camera is just because it took me forever to line them up. I don't know if you've had a go yet, but trying to line them up is a bit of a nightmare, and it can take you a little bit of time. Obviously they're worthwhile when they're finished because they look great, but mine, it just seemed to take me forever, and I just thought if I do this on camera you're going to switch me off because it's going to take forever. So I just thought, well, I'm just going to pre-do them and explain how I've done them. And so my leaves are Always Artichoke on Always Artichoke, and I don't actually know if I want to use all of these leaves this time. It all depends on your placement, really. So I think I'm just going to stick that one there. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Quite happy with that. So that's my flowers done. And so now I just need to stick it inside. So take your green sprig out, add some fuse. And again, this is another one of making sure you line it up before you press it down, because we're using fuse and it doesn't have much forgiveness in it, as we know. So you can always tuck it just underneath your shadow box frame, because there is going to be just a tiny little lip where you can pop it in. And the best thing I found for doing that was my scoring tool, and I just simply popped it in and just ran it underneath, because obviously if you use your paper piercer, it's going to pierce the card. And you can just simply run it in and under all your edges. And although that's not perfectly straight, it's good enough for me, because yes, you're probably thinking, well, that's really not very good, but you're not going to see it. Well, actually, you probably might, but just take your time in getting that in. I haven't adhered this because I don't think it needs to. It doesn't come out. So just stick that there. And then using Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper, I've cut the trees out, again from the card front builder, and obviously stamped the reindeer on soft suede onto soft suede cardstock. And I've just simply used my snail on this one. Just run it a little bit up the tree, a little bit across the bottom. Make sure that your base doesn't overlap in case somebody wants to stand it up. And then likewise with this one, just added some more snail, and I have just slightly overlapped the edges on that one. And then again with your in fact, I think I actually used fine tip glue pen on that one, and I actually just tucked him under the tree here. So I'm just going to pick those bits up to tuck him under, and that's him hidden there. And then all that's left is to add some metallic shapes, and I'm going to use the silver ones, and I'm just going to add a couple of stars on this one. As you can see, I did my scoring slightly wrong on this one. I think that's where I went off again. So I'm just going to add a couple of stars on that one, and then you just need to add your card to the back. Just put my mess out of the way. So obviously you need a piece of cardstock that is 8 by 4 and then scored at 4, so that you've got the card part, which I'm just going to burnish there. And then you just need to, if you're going to stamp or put anything on the inside, obviously do it now. I'm not going to on this one. And then you just need to add your fuse to the back. And I just add it to all 4 sides, simply because it's obviously going on the back of the box. Flip your box over, making sure it's the right way. Line your card up. And there you have it, your shadow box card, which I think is really cute. Oh, and I also added some enamel dots, so let me just grab my enamel shapes, find my real reds, which I probably have. Oh, there you go, there's my real reds. Nearly forgot those. It just adds a little bit more to the inside, and they're just the small dots that I'm just adding to the centre of the flowers there. I mean, you can add whatever you like to it really, but I just think they're really quite cute and just a little bit different. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me with my Merry Christmas suite, Merry Little Christmas suite. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, all the products that I've used are available. All the details are on my blog. Hop along and have a look. You never know what you might find. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.